We're going to cover a lot of information in this one, so grab your caffeine of choice and let's get into this. Welcome to Electrified. On December 30th, Tesla delivered 15 Model 3s at Gigafactory 3, their plant in Shanghai. Tesla began construction on this muddy field January 7th, 2019. Less than 365 days later, they're not only producing cars, but they're making deliveries. At the time, there wasn't a soul outside of the Tesla community that thought this timeline, which Elon did predict, was feasible. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention there was indeed a proposal at the employee delivery event. I'm happy to report she said yes. The first customer deliveries were set to start January 7th, exactly 1 year after construction began. As 2019 came to a close, Tesla said it's been producing 280 vehicles per 10-hour shift at Gigafactory 3, which is a 1,960 unit weekly run rate capacity. Song Gang, production director at G3, said the factory will be able to produce 3,000 units per week in the near future. Elon has mentioned previously this figure may eventually reach 5,000 per week. Keep in mind, these are always estimates as we don't have exact information on actual shift deployments. We're all reading between the lines, albeit pretty precisely. Just this morning, Tesla China held their delivery ceremony for first customer deliveries. I stayed up to stream it for you guys, and that's the footage you're looking at now. Elon thanked the Chinese government and expressed his sincere appreciation and his commitment to their future. He reiterated Tesla's mission, and then they moved on to the first deliveries. Before that, though, we got a major highlight for the night: Elon dancing. I love this, mans. Elon did confirm they would eventually make the Model Y there, but did not give a time frame. He mentioned there would be significant manufacturing advancements to be announced later. The news of the event came at the end when Elon said they were planning to build a research and development center in China to build a custom Chinese Tesla. He talked about Cybertruck and how it's a piece of art that speaks to your soul, something no one is expecting, and that they plan to work with the Chinese market to develop something similar. No timetable, but something to look forward to and another piece of news to track. Let's quick hit some G3 facts before moving to China's overall EV market. Currently, 30% of parts for the Chinese Model 3 are sourced locally, and the goal is to source 100% of parts locally by the end of 2020. There are currently around 600 workers at the factory, with plans to increase to 1,500 this year. Tesla's Chinese website lists the government subsidy for the car as 24,750 yuan, which is $3,500. Not only this, but the Model 3 is exempt from the 10% vehicle purchase tax for all of 2020. Pause here if you'd like to view the tax-exempt models. After subsidies, here are the prices for each model. Standard range, $42,800. Long range, $63,000. Performance, $73,100. We need to zoom out to the Chinese EV market as a whole. There's a lot of attention put on Tesla's production capacity, which is excellent, but let's get a feel for what demand may actually look like. The Chinese government uses the term NEV for new energy vehicles to encompass all drivetrains, BEVs, PHEVs, and FCEVs. In 2018, the latest available full-year data, there were approximately 17.2 million cars sold in the US, 360,000 of which were plug-in vehicles. Thus, EVs made up around 2% of the overall market share. EV sales did increase 80% year over year from 2017. Chinese vehicle sales in 2018 reached approximately 28 million units, of which 1.2 million were NEVs, which made up around 4.5% of the overall market share in China in 2018. The Chinese government has said it wants 25% of annual new car sales to be NEVs by 2025, which would mean roughly 7 million NEVs sold in 2025. Shifting to 2019, the Chinese plug-in market has been in free fall for the second half of the year. In November, the NEV market was down 42% year over year. So what's the deal? In 2017, the Chinese government gave out $3.1 billion in subsidies to NEV makers. Then, summer 2019, the handouts all but stopped. The government feared a potential bubble and demanded that manufacturers prove they can make competitive products and price them appropriately without relying on government funds for sales. On June 26th, NEV subsidies were cut off completely for vehicles with less than 155 miles, 250 kilometers of range, and cars with higher ranges had theirs cut in half. It should be noted this has had a worse effect on the cheaper end of the NEV market, where the more expensive market has continued to show signs of strength. This is where Tesla will be competing. These subsidy changes won't affect Tesla, as to date they haven't had any Chinese subsidies to begin with. You can't lose what you've never had. So add to the equation the trade tensions and the fact that there were 486 NEV manufacturers registered in China earlier this year, and you have a recipe for bankruptcy for many Chinese NEV makers. Just remember, whatever bullshit CNBC pitches you about no demand in China, just know it's not going to be Tesla as the one that's drowning. A quick fun thing I found in my research: did you know China sells around 1.75 million of these annually? It's an entirely separate segment of transportation. LSEVs, low-speed electric vehicles. They top out around 40 miles per hour and cost around $1,000. Taking a look at this chart, you see Tesla is already the fourth best seller in the NEV market for the month of November, while navigating import tariffs, shipping logistics, and many other factors. With G3 now up and running, it's quite possible the slowdown in NEV sales the last few months has been the Osborne effect of customers waiting for the Made in China Model 3. As we know from US experience, the product is so good that customers frequently overspend their typical price range to get a Tesla. There aren't any reasons that this same phenomena won't happen in China. All reports are that demand is very high and Tesla has the tech swag factor that cannot be touched. I hope I've earned a like, comment, and a subscription. If not, let me know what I can do for future videos. Thank you for watching. Until next time.